So this is very interesting article that I'm gonna read for you guys, and it's to be honest, it's interesting to me because while most states are pushing the EV and putting all this legislation in place to force companies to make EV vehicles, one state is doing the complete opposite, which is crazy, right? State of Wyoming is actually going to be banning the sale of electric vehicles by 2035. So let's go ahead and take you there to the article. It's interesting. Now, I myself have not read the article, so I'm just going to be reading it with you guys, and I'm putting in my opinion as well too. So let's go ahead. So Wyoming wants to ban sales of EVs by 2035. Cowboy State wants to protect the oil and gas industry that provides employment for many of its citizens. So it makes sense. You're looking out for your peoples. No April Fool's Day hasn't come early. Wyoming really has just introduced a bill with the hope of phasing out the sale of electric vehicles from 2035. You'll note that this same year, California and other states following Cali's lead will outlaw the sale of new cars. That's no coincidence. Representative Senator Jim Anderson told Cowboy State Daily that he wanted to push back against bans on new sales of cars with internal combustion engines in states like California and New York. Though the resolution has support from members of the state's House of Representatives and Senate, it's in reality more about raising awareness of how some states, including Wyoming, could be negatively affected by the switch to EVs. Senate Joint Resolution 4 only calls for residents to voluntarily limit the sale and purchase of EVs a bit with a goal of phasing them out altogether by 2035. So, what exactly is Wyoming's problem with the EVs? First, charging infrastructure. The same thing I've been saying over and over and over and over and over. Finally, somebody has some sense. I wish you could see me right now. I'm throwing signs and just being yes, me. Yes. But finally, somebody's saying something about it. First, charging infrastructure. Less populous states like Wyoming, which has fewer than 600,000 inhabitants, won't be as widespread or practical as in New York or California. Now, even in the state of California here, in the great, lovely, beautiful, sunny California, we have issues with electricity. We can't get enough of it. Especially during the summertime when it's extremely hot. We like to, utilize our ACs to keep our house cold, because it helps me sleep. And my electric bill is, I think during the summer, it's about $400, which is just absolutely insane because they have these rates where they hike it up during the summertime because they want. And you weren't allowed. I think last year is the first year where we didn't have a blackout, but we were not allowed to, use AC within certain times. And the only time you can charge your car is like off peak hours or something like that. You couldn't charge your car for some reason. So it's nice for them to think green, but all these vehicles, electric vehicles that are being made, they're not very green. The way that they're made are not green. So this whole thing is just, it's I don't know, man. That's a whole nother can of worms. Some rural communities still don't have broadband internet, never mind car chargers. That's true. But a bigger concern is the threat to employment. Wyoming produced over 85 million barrels of crude oil in 2021, making it eighth most productive state. Tax in the bill notes that oil and gas production has long been one of Wyoming's proud and valued industries and references the large number of jobs it has proved or provide in the state for more than a century. I'm interested in making sure that solutions that some folks want to so-called climate crisis are actually practical in real life. Co-sponsor Senator Brian Boner told Cowboy State Daily, I just don't appreciate when other states try to force technology that isn't ready. And I agree with I agree with you there, man. The technology of EV still has long ways to go, especially in the winter time where we're losing range. Even though all these electric vehicles have these, like whether it heats up the battery or whatever, it's still we're still losing a ton of range during the cold time. Even Teslas are struggling with like you losing a doesn't matter what EV company has put out, what kind of product that they have put out lately, they're all losing a bunch of range during the cold. And that's something that gasoline car doesn't really get affected with that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to, for me, I travel far. So my range already suffers because I drive on the highway, but I'm not complaining. I knew what I was getting myself into when I bought the car. And I have nothing but like during the summertime, it really saves me on gas, especially at the time when gas prices was almost $6. But it was nice. So I think that EV and whatever alternative fuel that they want to push down our throat is a nice alternative. But if we are going all in on EVs, we have to build the infrastructure first and then try to find ways to slowly put EVs in place because we only have like what year is this? 2023, 7 years. They expect all companies to start selling EVs in 7 fucking years. Well, fix the fucking infrastructure first. So we imagine everybody plugging in their EVs at the same fucking time. It's gonna be insane. This is gonna be madness. My God. But we'll see. Bono acknowledged that the resolution was tongue in cheek but is designed to raise awareness of situations some might not have considered. It's a very serious issue that deserves some public discussion, he added. So I can agree with him on certain points. Um, I do not believe that we should just go all in on EVs. Just like Toyota CEO said, he doesn't want to just put all of his eggs in one basket. And why are we trying to put all of our eggs in one basket? I think there's room for both. They can all exist. Now, the one that I've been really vocal about it's hydrogen fuel cell. I believe that it can be a very viable alternative to gasoline. But there's not a lot of companies that's investing on it. Now, once company starts investing in creating stations, um, I think it can be very viable. Now, imagine if we can have hydrogen as our alternative fuel, and then have EVs also on top of that. I think that would be a nice makeup. Now, Honda is trying to do something similar to that, where you're going to have hydrogen fuel cell as your main source, and then it's also EV or electric battery on top of that. Now that's pretty cool. I like that idea. Now the only problem is lack of infrastructure. Nobody's building gas stations or hydrogen stations here for the said vehicles. And California is the only state that has fuel cell vehicles or hydrogen fuel cell vehicles because I've looked in other maps where they have stations. There's not stations readily available. Even here in the state of California, there are some station. I mean, the nearest station that's closest to me is about 20 miles. It's too far. And then where I travel to work, there's no stations around. So that's the main issues or the biggest hurdle with hydrogen fuel cell is there's just no stations. But the fact that certain car companies are investing in it, I think Hyundai Kia is investing into hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. I think they have like a couple of them, and then Honda is obviously making one as well too, and then Toyota is still making the Mirai and still investing in hydrogen, and I hope that they just keep doing it, and hopefully more companies will see the light and start creating stations because it's gonna be a thing. I really do hope that it takes off, and that could be a game changer for everybody. It doesn't burn as dirty as fuel as gasoline or as diesel, you know. So only time will tell. I really do hope that hydrogen fuel cell becomes popular and successful so we can have that also. There's benefits to it. But anyway, enough of me keeping you here for a while. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're so close to that 1,000. We just need a couple more. Come on, do it. Do it. All right, I'm out.